Billy West's Richard Nixon, after his brief appearance in episode 1,
That's it. You just made my list.
is back with a vengeance and running for president of Earth.
I certainly wouldn't harm the child.
With his new shiny metal ass. This episode's title is pretty straightforward, because while Nixon is running ahead in the polls, he is also ahead in the polls. Get it? And even though a second Watergate incident makes it seem like his hopes for the presidency are over, he comes through at the end as president of Earth. I'll avoid boring you with all the details of Nixon's Watergate scandal and resignation from the presidency. There are plenty of history channels for that, but I will go through this episode thoroughly, because it's full of great Bender lines and Nixon moments.
Shut up, damn it!
No cold open this time, just an opening title that says, "From the makers of Futurama." Just in case you forgot that the show you are watching is made by the same people who made the show you've been watching. And the guy making this video would sure appreciate it if you left it a like. And I usually brush over the opening cartoon, but I found this one very interesting. It's called Coco Needles the Boss. It's from 1927 and is a cartoon where the illustrator interacts with the animation. Very cool for its time and is definitely worth checking out. Welcome to the Hip Joint, where Futurama fans get in free. Though there isn't a cold open this time, the episode starts in a very familiar way, with Fry and Bender watching TV.
Watching cartoons.
Sorry.
And what they are watching on TV is The Scary Door, a reference to the classic television show The Twilight Zone. Narrated by Maurice LaMarche.
These are just examples. It could also be something much better.
Who also voices the last man on Earth in this episode.
Well, lucky I know how to read Braille.
The Scary Door tells tales of great irony.
Robot, experience this tragic irony for me. No!
Greed.
Casino where I'm winning? I must be in heaven.
Or in the case of our man here, being careful what you wish for. Because as he revels in his solitude where he can read books for all eternity, he meets a gruesome end. That might be what took out everyone else on Earth.
Hey, look at that weird mirror.
And this is just the start of many background details throughout the episode, as some of the books on the shelf are named, including 2984, a reference to George Orwell's 1984. This book that I can't quite make out the name of, though it does have VCR in the title, Anti-Gravity's Rainbow for Thomas Pynchon's novel Gravity's Rainbow, Quantum Relativity for Dummies, because I'm sure there is a dumbed-down version out there for the normies like us.
Who wants to learn physics?
Robot Run, after John Updike's Rabbit Run, the Preppy Handbook, the Newer Testament, because the professor does mention the second coming of Jesus in the episode When Aliens Attack.
Most videotapes from that era were damaged in 2443 during the second coming of Jesus.
Which I've already done a breakdown of, so you should go check that out when you're done here.
Cheese it!
And this Red Dwarf of Courage, a mix of the book The Red Badge of Courage and a 90s BBC sitcom Red Dwarf, which also happens to be a type of star.
Focus!
And then we move to the main plot of the episode, politics. Mainly the presidential election, and that's President of Earth, which is basically America.
Which is basically the world, but you didn't hear that from me.
And Bender and Fry have zero interest in watching. Plus the fact that I don't think Fry could point out Earth if he were shown a picture of it, because this little exchange here is going into this episode's vote for best moment.
What do we care? We live in the United States.
The United States is part of the world.
Wow, I have been gone a long time.
Leela turns on the debate, which shows the two frontrunners, John Jackson,
Or bitter rival,
Jack Johnson.
I'm against those things that everybody hates.
And no, not the soft rock singer-songwriter Jack Johnson, or the Galveston giant Jack Johnson, who was the first black heavyweight boxer. No, these two clones may look alike.
they differ on some key issues.
This riveting debate,
And I say your 3-cent titanium tax doesn't go too far enough.
and Fry's controversial statement,
You're not registered?
Nope, not vaccinated either.
has Leela drag them to get registered. To vote at least. And this voter registration event also has numerous background details, starting with the banner out front, giving an extra vote to the first 100 customers. Because as Gerald Ford states later in the episode,
Never felt voting to be all that essential to the process.
Once inside, we see all the signs for the different political parties. And I'll go through them quickly. There's the Tasty-Crats and the Finger-Lickins, a play on the Democrats and Republicans, an Amoeba Party, a different version of the Green Party, the Brain Slug Party,
Slugs who control you gonna do for the working man?
Attach brain slugs to them.
Sure, you say that now.
the Dudes for the legalization of hemp, which I'm putting down as the second vote for best moment because this guy is hilarious.
Dave's not here, man. No way! I gotta check out this brochure.
While Amy is visiting this booth, we see the Bullspace Moose Party and its spokesperson, looking a lot like Bullwinkle from Rocky and Bullwinkle.
As far as I can tell, I'm freezing to death.
We see the professor visiting the NRA booth.
Damn straight! Today the mad scientist can't get a doomsday device. Tomorrow it's the mad grad student.
With this crazy guy.
For duck hunting.
The People for the Ethical Treatment of Humans, or PETH, the Rainbow Wigs, the Anti-Socialists, and the Voter Apathy Party.
Now here's a party I can get excited about.
Sorry, not with that attitude.
Okay, then screw it.
Back at the office, and already bored of politics again, Morbo and Linda report on a breaking news story of a titanium mine collapse that has trapped 1,000 robot workers.
The plan is basically to pave over the area and get on with our lives.
And Bender seems very distraught by this tragedy, until he learns that it's going to make him rich.
All right, I'm rich!
And it's here we can add another item to the list that Bender is 40% of.
My body's 40% titanium!
After he mentions being made of 40% zinc in Fry in the Slurm Factory.
I'm 40% zinc!
And you'd think Bender could make more money from his titanium-rich body, but he instead sells to a cleverly named pawn shop.
Pleasure doing business with you.
Now that Bender is just a head, a very rich head,
Compare your lives to mine and then kill yourselves.
one presumably covered in dog piss,
You just lost $5.
he heads back to the office with a well-placed kick from this passerby.
Thank you!
With his newfound wealth, he goes on a spending spree, though not quite as extravagant as Fry's in A Fistful of Dollars. Sipping martinis poolside,
Shaken, not stirred.
some light cheating in roulette,
I beg your pardon, the 33 black.
with the table being run by the same dealer as A Flight to Remember.
Sorry, the house limit is 3 do-overs. Next shooter.
I'm not sure what joy he gets out of being used as a bowling ball in this frankly disgusting bowling alley.
Strike! In your face, Leela!
He also buys himself a car, in the style of one Stuart Little. I'm just curious how he operates this thing, and why he decides to use it to try and kill the professor.
Timber!
He then decides he wants to go live amongst the other famous heads, and heads over to the Head Museum, another spot in the episode with lots of background details. I'm not going to name all the heads we see, other than a few notables, like Charlie Chaplin and Sylvester Stallone in The Movie Stars,
I never broke the law. I am the law.
John Turturro, because everybody loves John Turturro, in the B-Movie Stars.
Nobody did Jesus.
Before the TV stars, we have the porn stars. These 3 being actual porn stars, and these 2 being made up. Just don't ask me how I know that.
But don't tell my wife how many porn stars I know. I'll get in a lot of trouble.
But in the TV stars, we see Leela's voice actor Katie Siegel's head. Supermodel Claudia Schiffer voices herself.
Thanks. I wouldn't mind losing a few pounds, though.
Couldn't hurt.
Just before we head into the Room of Presidents, which is an upgrade from what they had in the pilot episode,
You just made my list.
as they are now in their own private room, staffed with Secret Service. It's here we see this head for Jesse the Head Ventura, after ex-wrestler Jesse the Body Ventura, former governor of Minnesota, who I guess made it to the presidency at some point.
For all these Hoosier losers out here.
But it's here Nixon reemerges, next to his ex-vice president and successor Gerald Ford, who chimes in with this after Clinton tries to hit on Leela.
Nothing I can do counts as sex anymore.
I apologize for his rudeness, ma'am. He gets this way around meaty-looking women.
This comment from Ford that I mentioned earlier
Frankly, I've never felt voting to be all that essential to the process.
makes more sense when you realize that he's the only person to hold the office of vice president and president without ever being voted in.
I am acutely aware that you have not elected me as your president by your ballots.
But really, this episode is about Nixon, as he reveals to Bender that a life without a body isn't all it's cracked up to be.
Great, now you tell me.
That's my style. I like to kick 'em when they're down.
That night, Bender has a terrible nightmare, in binary of course, even claiming,
I thought I saw two.
which you can see here.
There's no such thing as two.
Bender realizes his mistake and heads back to the pawn shop to get his body back, which unfortunately has already been sold.
You sold my body to who?
I can't reveal that information.
But at least Fry makes some quick cash
Hey, my clothes are worth $50.
Deal.
as he shows back up to Planet Express naked, meaning he also sold his underwear, which is gross. The pants and shirt are probably pretty easy to replace, but his iconic red jacket, I don't know, because he definitely didn't come to the future with a spare. Then Bender sees Nixon on TV with his body as he announces his run for presidency, while being questioned by the on-the-ground reporter Scoop Chang.
Sir, the Constitution clearly states that nobody can be elected president more than twice.
Nixon then breaks into song with the electric guitar he also bought from the pawn shop, singing a cover of White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane.
Feed your head. I'm meeting you halfway, you stupid hippies.
Before throwing up his iconic double peace sign. And I know Bender is upset about losing his body,
How dare he run off with Richard Nixon?
and Nixon is most certainly up to no good.
I certainly wouldn't harm the child.
But he did buy it fair and square.
Pleasure doing business with you.
Either way, Fry, Bender, and Leela head to Washington to get it back, parking next to the Washington Monument, which is next to the much more impressive Clinton Monument.
Legally, nothing I can do counts as sex anymore.
During the debates, Nixon is seen kissing a baby, a common trope, to which Bender claims,
Great. First he steals my body, now he's touching my stuff.
back in the dressing rooms as Nixon's campaign manager is giving him some poll results.
And that message is, look at my shiny new body.
The gang pop out of their hiding spot, asking for Bender's body back.
Please, Mr. Nixon, we're appealing to your sense of decency.
After blowing their chance to get Bender's body back the nice way,
Shut up, damn it!
they decide to break into the Watergate Hotel where Nixon is staying. Leela mentioning a discount,
They give you a discount if you've been here before.
because the Watergate Hotel is where the Nixon administration was caught breaking into the DNC, a crime that eventually led to his resignation.
Oh, expletive deleted.
Not really my wheelhouse, but I do know this sign out front is also gross. And Leela is referred to as meaty earlier in the episode,
He gets this way around meaty-looking women.
and we already know she's strong. But being strong enough to pull Fry up this robotic grappling line is impressive.
Keep going, we're right behind you.
And then we get this gem from Bender, which is the last vote for best moment.
Whoa, mama. Get a room, you two.
We're in a room.
Well, then lose some weight.
Inside Nixon's room, Leela goes about removing his head from Bender's body, while Fry enjoys himself on this thought-activated bed. This unfortunately wakes up Nixon,
You shaggy peaceniks have some nerve.
and now it's a head-to-head fight for Bender's body. Okay, that was my last one. Bender recording Nixon's masterful rant,
And I'll go into people's houses at night and wreck up the place.
gives them the dirt they need to negotiate Bender's body back.
Oh, expletive deleted.
Hey, I've got one last thought.
So, all is well and good. Bender's back to himself, and Nixon's hope for the presidency squashed.
Yes, the system works.
That is, until the robot vote comes in,
Nixon has won.
winning by only one vote, which was all Leela's fault.
Oh, crud. I knew there was something I meant to do today.
So, with his newer robot body and dead campaign manager, Nixon heads for the White House. Okay, that was my last one.
Wait, stop! I've got more!
But the last thing to do is vote for best moment of the episode. Will it be Fry's poor geographic knowledge?
What do we care? We live in the United States.
The United States is part of the world.
Wow, I have been gone a long time.
This guy?
Dave's not here, man. It does? No way. I gotta check out this brochure.
Or Bender laying down this sick burn?
Whoa, mama! Get a room, you two!
We're in a room!
Well, then lose some weight!
Get your vote in now. Be sure to like and subscribe, and get ready for the introduction of Robot Santa in next episode's Xmas story.
Come on, everybody! If you don't believe in him, he can't hurt you!